Ooh, for the audience now.
I love this. Honestly, when I found out I was eating donkey, and like I was just like,
oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, okay, time to learn the language. You know, you should do stand up.
It doesn't make you want to do it. Hello and welcome to Janette's I'm Every Woman TV. I'm your host, Janette Burke. We are doing something special tonight. We are doing Funny Ladies, Women in Comedy, and we're live on location at JOCIC here in Toronto. And we are also here for the Jewish Comedy Festival, and we're about to talk with a well-known Toronto comic named TAMARA SHEVON. She is actually has done numerous shows across Canada, US, and China. We're going to find out a little bit more about that in a minute. And she's an improv queen. She's here with us today, and we're so happy to have her. Welcome, Tamara.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. So I mentioned that you're here to do a Jewish comedy show,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people don't realize that you're actually Jewish.
Yeah.
So can you explain that?
Yeah, so basically my great-grandmother was from Israel. She immigrated over to Jamaica, which is, don't know how they got there. And then my grandmother, and then my mom, so we have a whole Jewish Jamaican community right in the, near Montego Bay and an hour south of there. And so that's all my family. So everyone that's a Jamaican Jew is related to me, basically.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, Jewish people are everywhere, right?
Yeah, we're everywhere.
We want to talk about you. So one of the most interesting things I found about you when I was researching you
Oh no.
is that you actually began your career in China.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, how was that? You're a Canadian girl.
Yeah.
You're doing comedy. You're known for improv. You're performing in Beijing, China.
Yeah.
And was that challenging? Did you have to learn the language? Is comedy different in China?
Comedy is a lot different in China. You're mainly playing to expat communities. I did have to learn Mandarin.
Oh, that can't be easy.
Yeah, I was just after 5 months, you're what am I eating? Honestly. When I found out I was eating donkey, and I was just
oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, okay, time to learn the language, But yeah, comedy's really cool there. There's the Comedy Club China, and they are the only comedy club in Beijing, so they're based out of there. They have about 17 rotating comics that work on the scene. They have 3 open mics and then 1 feature show. So I did an open mic on my birthday. Then they put me on a feature show, and 8 months later I was headlining my own show in China, which was insane.
In Chinese?
No, in English.
Oh, okay.
My stand-up in China is not very funny, unless you're laughing at how bad my accent is,
So what motivated you to even become a comic?
I think just a lot of people telling me that I should do stand-up, and that's someone's like, oh, you're funny, you should do stand-up. Then after a while,
I that all the time myself, but I'm not.
You should do stand-up.
It doesn't make you want to do it. Yeah.
So
but what made you want to do it?
Well, after being in China and having so many crazy things happen to me on a daily basis, pictures taken of me, people shoving money in my hands to take photos with their kids, just really weird stuff. I was like, I gotta write this down, and I started making notes of all that stuff. And then eventually on my birthday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a set. So I did my first set ever on my birthday when I turned 25, I think.
Wow, that's very crazy.
Yeah, which is it could have been a really bad birthday really easily, Could be a really good birthday or a really bad birthday. It ended up being really good because I wouldn't still be doing it, but.
Now, do you find that being a female comic is challenging? I mean, there are a lot more female comics now than there have been in the past,
right.
But traditionally it's been a kind of a male-dominated sphere. How do you find being a comedian as a female is? Do you find that it's harder to get on tours?
Oh, that's 100% for that. I did my own tour last year, funded the whole thing, called all the venues myself with my co-headliner, Shauna, and we did that all on our own because, you don't just get picked to do that kind of stuff as a female, really. But I work with a lot of different clubs and different shows that are really male-dominated, and eventually it's you can't just be the female act on the show, you just have to be the funny person that's also on the show. So after just putting yourself into that every day, doing multiple shows a day, you eventually get to a point where you don't feel like you're a female comic anymore. You just feel like I'm a comic now. Yeah.
Is it high pressure for you though?
Oh yeah, yeah. For a year, I threw up before every set. Like, physically made me ill. It is really hard because you feel like the standard is like, you're expected to not talk about certain things if you're a female because that's like what everyone talks about. Don't talk about your periods. Don't talk about this. But then all male comics talk about all the same things all the time. So it's like you're fighting a battle that is already a losing battle, but you just have to keep going and hope for the best, really.
So what motivates you? Like who do you derive material from?
I do mainly things that are based on my personal experience. Wanda Sykes is someone that I really look up to a lot, mainly because like I feel like we have a lot of similar experiences, and she's timeless. You know what I mean? You're not gonna look at Wanda Sykes and be like, oh well, that's good for 60. You know what I mean? Like she's just always gonna be really funny no matter what situation you put her in. So I kind of just try to go through that sort of way of doing things, being funny no matter what's happening in the political climate. Like whatever anyone's doing, just trying to make the humor come from any situation, you know?
And what do you consider funny? Today it's kind of odd, right?
Yeah.
What do you consider funny?
Impersonations have been getting me a lot lately just because I can't do them. I can't switch accents on. So when people do like a whole set and do like dialogue between them and like somebody else in a different like accent or situation that's like something you've been in, I can't do that. So that's something that I admire because I'm like, good for you. I can't do an Australian accent off the top of my, like, no one could be like, oh, try doing this French accent. No, it's not happening. Like, you know?
And now you won for second runner-up in Beijing for the improv.
Yeah.
How is doing improv different than actually just getting up and doing comedy?
It was a Beijing improv and comedy festival, so I didn't honestly do that much improv in it. Improv is really hard, and you have to have like the right partners with you and the right people. And I just haven't found that steady balance, so comedy's more my lane now. But yeah, so I don't really do that anymore.
Okay, so it's really like there is a huge difference then, because you have a set now. You have prepared dialogue.
Exactly.
You rehearse it, you perfect it. Whereas improv, you just kind of go with it.
I feel like every comic's doing improv. If you're like asking people how they are and like riffing and that kind of stuff, that's the same kind of thing. But the way that improv's done, where it's like you rely so much on somebody else, and then like to make something so tiny, like eggplants and umbrellas, hilarious. I'm like, that's beyond my scope right now. Like, you know, I'm not doing that.
So I understand that you're also a teacher.
Yeah.
And what do you teach?
I teach English, French, and business to grade 11 and 12 students.
Wow, that's pretty good. So you obviously have an educational background yourself.
Oh yeah.
And where do you find the time to fit in the comedy?
Right? Well, I work at a private school, so I work Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, which is nice. So then Tuesdays and Thursdays I have off. And then comedy's a nighttime kind of thing. So being able to have like one day out of the week where you just get to like wake up a little bit later, 2 days, like Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I kind of just don't sleep, to be honest. When you want two things, like I love teaching, I love having that impact on students and being able to know that I'm like changing the course of what they do in their lives and like I'm contributing to that. But I also love comedy so much, so I just have to find time to do both. And so 5 hours a night is where we sit right now.
Oh, I hear you, Hannah. I do 4 hours a night.
Ooh.
So, what is more impactful for you? Like, would you like to see yourself be a huge comedian?
Yeah, 100%.
And so are you prepared to go the distance? What is that going to look like for you?
I mean, it's already been 6 years so far. And just like producing my own shows, doing everything kind of like for myself, knowing that I'm just going to have to like eat, sleep, breathe comedy for a while. Because for the first 4 years I was doing comedy, I wasn't really making money. You know what I mean? And then in the last 2 years, now I'm making money that I'm like, oh, I never thought I would make this. You know?
So you can make good money.
You can make good money if you put in a lot of work, but you can't really rely on other people. You kind of have to put all that in yourself, know exactly what you think that you're worth. Because comedy is the only profession where someone asks you what they think you should be paid.
Wow, so it's pretty empowering then.
Yeah.
For a woman especially. Yeah. Okay, and I know you have a podcast, a weekly podcast, your own show, correct?
Yeah, I did.
You're producing and you host.
Yeah, I did that. It was called Black and White Visual. I haven't done that in a while, actually. We stopped doing that recently.
Something Caller, I thought.
Oh, that's my weekly show.
Yes.
So yeah, Against the Caller Productions are all the shows that I run in the city. So I have SOS Comedy, that's every like Wednesday night. And so that's all the top comics in the city. And then Sunday night, we have 2 shows at the Corner Comedy Club East called Sunday Best. So we do 2 back-to-back shows, 8 and 10 p.m. And then at the second Thursday of every month, I run a ladies' night show at the Underground Social Club. So
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Women's issues discussed there?
Oh, yeah.
Via comedy. That sounds really good.
Yeah. So I do those, and that altogether, that's Against the Color production. So I've been working on that pretty hard. So once you're just doing comedy every day, and you have something that you have to do weekly, and you have to keep up on it, you kind of just, you're so immersed in it that at that point you're like, well, I guess this is it. I'm going the distance now, right? Can't fall back.
So I'm going to see you on stage today and very shortly. I'm really looking forward to listening to your routine.
Thank you.
And I think you were saying that you also produce a podcast, and this is a weekly show, the Caller thing, if you want to explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so Against the Color Productions is like a production company that I guess I have for all of the shows that I run. So I run a weekly called SOS Comedy, and so that's all the top comics in the country. And then I have a Sunday show, 2 Sunday shows back to back at 8 and 10 p.m. called Sunday Best Comedy. So that's also a tighter version of that. Everyone does 10 minutes, and there's only 5 people on the show. And then every Thursday, the second Thursday of every month, actually, we have a show called Ladies Night. So it's just all female comedians, and we're all just, going over the issues that we can't talk about all the time.
Oh, I think that sounds wonderful. I'd love to come to see that.
Oh, you're welcome anytime.
Oh, thank you. If you want to keep in touch with me, we can definitely set that up.
Yeah, for sure.
So what would you like to promote? Do you have a website or a show coming up?
Yeah.
Okay, shameless promotion time. You can look at the audience now
I love
and
this.
tell us exactly what you've got going on.
Thank you. Okay, so if you want to check any of my upcoming shows or anything up, we have everything that's on www.tamarashevon.com. So you can see all of the recent things that I've done, all the media work, and then all the shows that I have upcoming. So check it out.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't want to keep you any longer. I know you got to get ready for your show. It's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you for being with us too today. This is Janette Burke, your host, signing off for Janette's I'm Every Woman TV. Please remember to like, comment, and share all our posts with all the gal pals in your life. And yes, some smart gents too who maybe need a little motivation, inspiration, and what have you. You will find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, Vimeo, you name it. We're there. # Janette's I'm Every Woman TV. You will find more information in the description below. Please just look and follow the links. And until next time, continue to be fabulous.